All right. Well, hey, New King Church, Ben and
Hey.
Aaron here. We are wanting to give you a quick video update because in light of everything that's happening in the world, we have made some decisions, some changes in the ways that we're going to do ministry, the ways that we're going to do church in the days ahead, as long as some of these quarantine rules are being imposed. And so we want to give you as much information as possible. Not sure how long this video is going to be, but we will try not to shortcut it so that you can get all the information, so that you can be informed of what's happening moving forward.
And how this is going to affect you in relation to how we fellowship at New King for the next however long, right?
Yeah.
So definitely you're going to want to be informed with this.
Yeah, and I think
stay tuned.
It's important just to say before we jump into like business stuff, just that we don't want you living in fear, and that we are not living in fear. We are resting on the promises of God, and we're believing in His sovereignty that He is going to use this thing for the good of His name, for the strengthening of His church, for the advancement of the kingdom. And so be filled with hope and expectation and confidence.
Absolutely.
In these days ahead. And let's do our best. I think you're going to find that the point of these announcements that we're about to give, the changes that we're making, are that we want to do our best to still be the church during this time.
Yeah.
With a few challenges.
So let's talk about a few things that we're going to do differently. So what's a big thing? I think maybe the first thing we should talk about is the services, how that's going to be done from now. So what are we going to do differently?
Yeah. So on Sundays, we still plan on live streaming a sermon, just like we did this past Sunday. And we're going to probably try different ways of doing that. So be on the lookout for maybe some different ways that we're going to be doing the sermon. We may be doing it a very different way this Sunday. We're just toying with some different ways to be as engaging as possible while still being on a video screen, right? So we would love it if you just make it part of your plans to tune in on Sundays live. If you can, if you're on Facebook, to tune in live and even engage with us.
And to be ready, engage live with us, which you can do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And come with questions, come away with that, with questions, because we're going to continue to do the Coffee with the Pastors podcast. And so we can answer those questions that you have from the sermon right there.
Yeah.
So come up with those questions. And if you have a question, email it to info@newkingchurch.com and we'll try to answer it.
Yeah, that's a good point. With that Coffee with the Pastors podcast, if you're not already following that and listening to that, then in the midst of all of this, that's one more way that you can be connected with your pastors. And if you, not just questions, but if there's like a topic that you would really love for us to cover, send that in, info@newkingchurch.com, and we'll take the suggestions that come in and we might turn it into an episode on there. So another change that we have coming up is, hopefully you've already seen that we are having to cancel our community groups meeting in person. And so some of your community groups have already come out and said, hey, look, we're going to just do our thing online. We're going to meet on a Zoom call or a Google Hangout. We are going to try and implement several of those. So we're going to call them online huddles, because they're not really a community group anymore. You know, it's not like sharing a meal. It's different. And so we're going to try and have as many of those online huddles going as possible at various times, so that no matter who you are, if you're a part of New King Church, you can find a time slot to jump in on an online huddle that's going to be an hour to an hour and a half long. It's going to have some element of the scriptures in it, and some connecting and holding each other accountable and finding out how everybody's doing and praying for each other.
Now, how can the people join an online huddle?
So all this stuff is like hot off the press. So some of this stuff is like not rolled out yet, but The plan as of right now is we're going to make groups available, just like we sign up for all of our community groups online on the website or on the Church Center app. We're going to make new groups available that are going to be those online huddles. So you can go on to a group, sign up for an online huddle, and then you will be included in that group.
Yeah. So once we have that up, we'll send that out to you guys. We'll post it on our social media, send out an email to let you guys know that you can sign up for that.
Yep. Another thing that we have is we want to know about your needs. If in this season, in this time, if you have some special prayer needs or physical, actual needs, we want to know about it so that we can hopefully help you out.
Yeah.
How would they do that?
So if you, I like how we're asking each other questions here. If you, if you have a need, physical or spiritual, email us at info@newkingchurch.com. If you are in a community group though, then we're going to ask our community group leaders. If you're a community group leader, this is us telling you, but we're going to tell you later too. Your community group leader will reach out to you to talk about this too, what your physical needs or your spiritual needs are right now. And then we'll seek to meet those. So your community group leader will reach out to you. If not your community group leader, someone will, we are trying to arrange that to make sure that as many people as possible can get reached out to and for us to ask you what your needs are. So, but if you have a need, it right now, just email us at info@newkingchurch.com.
What if somebody doesn't feel like they have a need right now, but they just want to help meet some needs?
That's a good thing too. You can do this exact same thing. So with us reaching out to you, you can talk with your community group leader or with whoever gets a hold of you and say, hey, I want to be a part of helping meet needs. And we really need people to pitch in. This isn't just an elder thing. This isn't just a pastor thing or community group leader thing. This is an us thing. So we need your help to meet needs, whether it's going to visit people, to help buy groceries, or to just talk with people. I mean, I think one thing that we talked about on the podcast was that the biggest commodity that's going to be lacking right now is relationship. And so we need people even just to be willing to call people and talk with them and pray with them. So if you're wanting to help out in any way, then talk with your leader. If you're in a community group, talk with us or just email us again at info@newkingchurch.com. That's where all the emails are going to be going in. It's going to be a lot there.
Heads up, Hannah.
Yes, heads up, Hannah.
Let's see. What else here? Oh, we're going to be, Katie Jickling is planning to start some online prayer. So one of the most important things that we can be doing in this cultural moment as a church is praying together, praying for our community, praying that the Lord of the harvest would use this thing for his glory and our good.
Amen. So, courageous prayers, right?
Courageous prayers. Powerful prayers.
Yes.
So if you want to get in on some powerful, courageous prayers, we're going to be doing some of that soon. Katie Jickling's going to be organizing that. And so we'll get that information out to you also.
Should people email about that or should just wait till they get contacted?
Yeah, just wait.
Okay. Just wait till you get contacted about it.
Yeah, until we
have But start praying. You can start praying.
Yeah, you can go ahead and pray. Yeah, that's okay. We'll allow it. Another thing that we're going to try and do is just as in an effort to be a little bit better connected to you during this disconnected time is we want to try and implement mass text communication. So right now, basically our avenues of communication have been through social media and email or phone call. And that's fine. But if you're like me, you get lots of emails, so many emails, and I'm not even on social media personally. So if you're one of those people like myself, then some text communication could be great. If that's you and you're in that category and you're like, oh, I don't know if my phone number is on file, email
info@newkingchurch.com. We planned that. No, we didn't.
And let us know that you want your phone number to be in the database and part of that mass text communication. You will have the option to opt out.
Yes.
Okay.
The first text will be.
Don't freak out.
To opt out.
Don't freak out right now. If you have given us your phone number,
be texting me,
and you get a text from us, you will have the option to opt out. That very first text, that will be the last text you get from us.
Yeah, and those texts, the purpose is to give you news, updates, to give you communications about what's going on, and also to give you support.
Yeah.
Offer support from New King.
Yeah.
So just so you know the purpose of those texts.
Yeah, we're just trying to think through efficiencies right now and making our connections, through the technology we have, the best that we can. We talked about community group leaders reaching out. Community group leaders are going to reach out. Okay, so be on the lookout for your community group leader to have some contact with you soon.
Is that? Did you mention? You didn't mention that, did you? Is that happening?
That's maybe happening. Maybe
okay.
The other thing that we wanted to talk about is giving. So many of you already give online and have that on a recurring thing. That's awesome. If you have not yet set up online giving and you typically give via cash or check in the service, now would really be the time to go on to our website and set up online giving, because we don't know how long it's going to be before we meet back together.
Absolutely.
So yeah, please do that. If you call New King Church home and you're listening to this and you normally give in service, please go to newkingchurch.com/give and go ahead and set up your giving online so that the church, doesn't go through a hard financial time because of all of this, right?
Yeah.
I know that we all may hit a hard patch, but if you want to continue giving through this, then please go ahead and do that. It literally takes less than 5 minutes.
It's super fast.
It is so simple to set up your online giving on the website. So please do that. And be in touch with us. Be willing to reach out if you need anything at all. And be thinking about others in this time. Don't just, we talked about this on the podcast too, I think it was, but just the tendency to really become self-absorbed in this time. And instead we want to challenge you, church, to think about others. Think about your family, your church family members during this time.
Yeah.
Reach out to people. Don't wait until somebody asks you to reach out to somebody. Go ahead and make some phone calls. If God puts some people in the church on your mind, call them. Do the old-fashioned thing, and call them and say, how are you? I just wanted to check up on you and see how you're doing and see how your faith is and encourage you and pray with you.
Yeah.
Man, go ahead and start doing that stuff. That could be powerful.
Yeah, just do it.
Just do it. Oh, the other thing I was going to mention, if you have been in a discipleship group, one of our men's discipleship groups or women's discipleship groups for prayer and accountability, then please connect with your group members and set up a time to continue doing
Keep doing it. Don't
through
stop.
Zoom or through Google Hangouts.
And let us know if you're doing that, because we want to record what's going on in our church, how people are connecting with each other, that discipleship is continuing, that worship is continuing. So let us know if you are doing that. Just reach out to any one of us.
info@newkingchurch.com.
Yeah.
Poor Hannah. Man. Yeah. We're going to have to share the load on the emails.
Yeah.
The reason really being, let us know so that we want to make sure people don't fall through the cracks during this time. We want to shepherd our church well. And that means knowing, John and Bill are in a group and they're meeting together weekly for a huddle, or Betty and Sue are on the, are joining the prayer time. And I
know Betty ain't in the prayer time.
Betty don't pray.
She don't.
No, she don't.
She didn't get challenged.
There's no Betty's in our
There's nobody's in our church. But we do, and
we're gonna get an email from Betty. Hi, my name is Betty.
Don't call me out.
I've been going to your church now for 2 months. I'm so sorry, Betty. I'm so sorry.
And I was going to say, we have literally a list of everybody who goes to our church, and we're trying to say, hey, who's following up with this person? Who's shepherding? Who's helping? Who's reaching out to them? So just let us know. That's why we need to have this information to know, how are people getting followed up? How are people doing right now? We can't see you physically, but we want to make sure that you're doing good. We want to make sure no one falls through the cracks. And we can't keep track of everybody in our little heads, if we're honest.
My head is so little.
It's so tiny.
It's a tiny little head.
It's this big.
One more thought that I had is, hopefully this is the last thought.
I hope so.
Is that the Lord may want to use this. I really am hopeful that God may want to use all of these churches putting their teaching content online as an opportunity to reach more people with the gospel
who otherwise wouldn't go to church.
Right. So be thinking about sharing our live stream or sharing the videos that we're putting online, or even just sharing our podcast with your friends. We've already had stories of people getting texts that said, I'm afraid, like from people who aren't churchgoers, I'm afraid, will you pray for me? So as that happens more and more, be thinking about it and share our sermons, share our podcasts and that kind of thing with your friends on social media and everywhere else, wherever you do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right, church. We love you.
Yeah. Grace and peace to you guys. Love you.